What happens to the villains the world forgets? The ones who terrified us, shocked us, or changed the way movies were made, but somehow vanished from pop culture memory. Tonight, we're dusting off the archives and uncovering the hidden legacy of the villains time tried to erase. Prepare yourself, because forgotten evil is often the most influential of all. Movie villains disappear for three major reasons. 1. Overshadowed by the hero. Some villains launched entire franchises, yet the hero stole the spotlight. 2. Ahead of their time. Dark, strange, or conceptually complex villains confused audiences back then, but feel genius today. 3. Buried by bigger blockbusters. Their movies weren't massive hits, but their ideas influenced future villains we do remember. Tonight, we're bringing them back. The Tall Man wasn't just a villain. He was an atmosphere. Angus Scrimm's towering presence, combined with the surreal dream logic of Phantasm, created an unsettling antagonist who didn't obey physical laws. He didn't chase you. He appeared where logic said he shouldn't. He didn't attack. Reality bent around him. His influence is foundational. Reality-warping villains like Pennywise and Freddy Krueger, interdimensional entities, dream horror storytelling. The Tall Man made horror strange, not just scary, and filmmakers have been copying that formula ever since. Before Riddick became a cult anti-hero, Pitch Black gave us Commander Krueger, a fanatic who believed violence was divine justice. Krueger wasn't evil for pleasure. He believed he was purifying the universe. This archetype, the villain who sees themselves as a holy weapon, became a template for dozens of sci-fi antagonists who kill for ideology rather than chaos. Think of the moral absolutist villains who dominate modern sci-fi. Krueger walked so they could run. Tim Curry's Darkness was a masterpiece of practical effects, a towering, red-skinned devil with horns that defied the laws of physics. He wasn't just a demon. He was temptation personified, dripping with charisma and theatrical wickedness. His legacy? Nearly every modern fantasy demon borrows his silhouette, his elegance, and his operatic villainy. Darkness is the reason demons look the way they do today. Forgotten by casual audiences, immortal among designers. Tilda Swinton's Gabriel is one of cinema's most chilling, quiet villains. Soft-spoken, emotionless, surgical in conviction. Gabriel believed humanity needed to suffer in order to earn God's love, creating a villain motivated not by cruelty, but by theology. This redefined the holy antagonist, inspiring dozens of angelic villains who represent oppressive purity rather than demonic corruption. Gabriel made heaven scary. Santana didn't need alien armor to be dangerous. He was dangerous because he was human. A cartel enforcer dropped into an alien hunting ground. Santana was proof that people can be just as monstrous as extraterrestrials. Though his screen time was short, his impact huge. He pioneered the idea that human villains can rival alien threats, influencing modern sci-fi where humans become the ultimate predators. He died early, but the archetype he created lived on. Before modern franchises built mythologies, the Candyman sequels experimented with lore expansion. Multiple imitators, avatars, and successors tried to inherit Candyman's power, exploring the idea that legends evolve and that belief creates new monsters. These characters didn't survive the cultural conversation, but the idea absolutely did. We see it now in every franchise that multiplies its villains across universes, successors, cults, or bloodlines. Forgotten names, but foundational ideas. Before vampires were goth rock icons in leather coats, there was Deacon Frost. Slick, charismatic, digitally enhanced before CGI villains became the norm. He was the original, stylish, supernatural antagonist, merging nightclub aesthetics with ancient evil, something almost every vampire film after Blade copied. Frost wasn't forgotten because he was irrelevant. He was forgotten because Blade became the legend instead. The Collector was a quiet villain, methodical, surgical, and disturbingly patient. No supernatural powers, no tragic backstory, just pure, cold ritual. His elaborate death traps inspired the modern, sadistic game master archetype that exploded across horror films in the 2000s and 2010s. He fades from conversation, but not from influence. Mama is one of horror's most haunting, tragic villains. Driven by maternal grief so intense it warped her into an apparition, Mama blended terror with heartbreak. A ghost who wasn't evil, just broken. This emotional horror blueprint paved the way for films like The Babadook, The Conjuring Ghosts, and modern grief-based supernatural storytelling. Her legacy is alive in every sympathetic spirit that followed. High Chancellor Sutler wasn't theatrical. He wasn't monstrous. He was worse. He was believable. A quiet, authoritarian figure whose presence shaped an entire society. Sutler defined the modern cinematic dictator. Surveillance, propaganda, fear as policy. He has few memorable scenes, yet his ideological shadow looms over every dystopian villain that followed. Forgotten because V stole the spotlight, but his template rules the genre. Syl wasn't just a monster. She was a weaponized fantasy, designed to lure, seduce, and destroy. Her blend of beauty and biological horror inspired an entire subgenre of fatal seduction aliens, creatures that mimic desire to prey on humanity. Syl's design, courtesy of H.R. Giger, influenced countless sci-fi creatures with smooth, organic curvature, sexual imagery, and predatory elegance. Her movie faded. Her aesthetic didn't. Mr. Dark is the serpent disguised as a showman, a carnival ringmaster offering temptation in exchange for souls. His quiet charm and sinister calm helped pioneer the charismatic tempter villain archetype seen later in supernatural dramas, YA fiction, and dark fantasy. Half devil, half salesman, all influence. He vanished from pop culture, but his type is everywhere. A nameless drifter, calm voice, cold eyes, motives unknown. The Hitcher wasn't a slasher, he was dread incarnate. His influence shaped a generation of silent menace villains, antagonists who don't explain themselves, don't feel emotion, and kill with methodical detachment. This archetype dominated thrillers for decades, yet the original drifter who inspired them is largely forgotten. A grotesque, reanimated corpse serving the angels in a supernatural civil war. The Judge mixed body horror with dark humor, a combination copied by numerous supernatural films and shows. He helped introduce the idea that angels could be monstrous, that heaven's soldiers could be terrifying, and that holy war has casualties on both sides. His influence echoes in every twisted, angelic enforcer that came after. Before the sleek, liquid metal Terminator became iconic, there were prototypes. Glitching, half-formed, unstable machines. These early models influenced how filmmakers portray evolving AI villains. Imperfect, experimental, uncanny, and incomplete. Their designs shaped the look of future synthetic antagonists in sci-fi. But because they appeared in supplemental lore and expanded material, they remain largely unknown. Forgotten pieces of history that shaped the cybernetic monsters we know today. These villains may be forgotten by audiences, but cinema, never forgot them. Their shadows stretch across genres. Their ideas echo in modern franchises. Their DNA runs through every iconic villain we celebrate today. Fame fades, but influence? Influence survives. Which forgotten villain deserves a comeback? Which one deserves a reboot or a second chance to terrify the world? Tell me in the comments. Like, subscribe, and join me again as we dive deeper into the darkness of cinematic history.